Swag, 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 swag. Alright, I'll teach you how to swag. Yeah, so we back on the channel, man. It feel good. It honestly do. You feel me? We working, man, every single day, man. We got how Mon Cop exposed a $10.3 million counterfeit empire. Now, counterfeit money, that's like printable money. You feel me? That's something you really can't do. As everybody up in here should know, you feel me? If you do it, you feel me? You slow, you feel me? But guess what? He got away with it. I don't know how the fuck he got away with it. We finna check it out together, man. We got a new channel, man. Vintage. I don't know, man. Shout out to you, man. We gonna get into it. Simple. Let's do it.
On August 14, 2006, a 15-year-old boy runs the Chicago PD with a bag full of cash, but he tells the cops that it is all counterfeit and that there's a hell of a lot more in his dad's apartment. So the police check it out, and goddamn, was this kid right. $89,000 in counterfeit bills, and the dad was placed under arrest.
All right, yo, I had to fix something. Let's get into it though. My bad. Simple.
On August 14, 2006, a 15-year-old boy runs the Chicago PD with a bag full of cash, but he tells the cops that it is all counterfeit and that there's a hell of a lot more in his dad's apartment. So the police check it out, and goddamn, was this kid right. $89,000 in counterfeit bills.
This kid snitching on his pops? Why is you snitching, bro? That don't make no sense. Like, why is he snitching? Nigga just being a hater? Like, come on, fool. That shit don't make no sense.
Under arrest. But what the police don't realize was these counterfeits weren't created by the dad, but actually by the 15-year-old boy. So why the hell would a son ever rat on his own dad?
Oh, he a mastermind.
Your dad is Art Williams Jr., the most prolific counterfeiter
But what
in
did Pops
American
do?
history. Perhaps it's more believable he would do it rather than you. He'd worked for the mob, made millions of counterfeit bills, all while evading the feds for a decade. The Secret Service considers him one of the greatest counterfeits of all time, and the story of how Art Jr. got there is wild. Art Jr. didn't have a
He taught his son the
childhood.
sauce?
Growing up in the Chicago projects, his first memory was watching his mom and dad rob a truck full of TVs. And by the age of 9, his mom was institutionalized for schizophrenia, and soon his dad abandoned them. But as a teenager, when his mom got on medication and was able to work a job, she had met a slick Italian boyfriend named Da Vinci. He had money, he had class, and more importantly, he treated his mom well. But at the age of 17, Art Jr. knocked up his 14-year-old girlfriend, and with no job, he started stealing cars to make ends meet. But within a couple of weeks, he was caught and sentenced to 3 months.
And then he grew up and snitched on your ass.
Da Vinci was upset.
He did all that, and then the kid grew up and snitched on his ass. Crazy.
That Art Jr. felt the need to steal, but he was glad that he was still a minor when he was caught, because that could have been years in prison, so he could easily still turn his life around. So like the father Art never had, Da Vinci takes him to his work to show him a better way to make money. So in a sketchy alley next to an abandoned railroad track, Da Vinci opens the door to his shop. Filled with barrels of ink and press machines, it looked like a neighborhood print shop for flyers. But at the end of the production line were stacks of $20 bills. Da Vinci was a
Hey, what would y'all do if y'all was in this situation, man? If somebody pulled up on you, man, they said, okay, I'm going to show you how to make money. Mind you, this is, I don't know what time. This could be the 70s, 80s, whatever. There's no social media. There's no other ways. There's no YouTube. There's like nothing. And he was like, hey, bro, I'm finna show you this way to basically make money illegally. You feel me? What you gonna do? And you 14 years old and you got your girl pregnant. What you gonna do in that situation? I don't know what I would do in that situation. Because I'm on YouTube, I'm gonna say I wouldn't do nothing. You feel me? But that's because I'm on YouTube. But this is a whole felony though. This is different.
And he had learned the craft from his father, who'd learned it from his grandfather. A long lineage of the family trade going all the way back to Italy. And he wanted to pass down that trade to Art Jr. Now, by the end of the Civil War, 1 in 3 bills of all American currency was counterfeit. And with the rampant war debt just skyrocketing, Abraham Lincoln created the Secret Service to hunt down
so this was like scamming before scamming.
On the same day he was assassinated. Well, 20 years later, the Secret Service brought down that number to 1 counterfeit for every 3,000 bills. By the 1980s, that number was 1 counterfeit bill for every 10,000 bills. Let's just...
What? Wait, so on the same day that happened to Lincoln,
Secret Service brought down that number to 1.
Wait, Lincoln created the Secret Service just hours before he was assassinated. Wait, so Abraham Lincoln just created the Secret Service, right? And then he was assassinated. This was in 1865, so this is the time frame.
Was assassinated. Well, 20 years later, the Secret Service brought down that number to
And then 20 years later, I think on that day, right?
one counterfeit for every 3,000 bills. By the 1980s, that number was one counterfeit bill for every 10,000 bills. Let's just say the
So they
Secret
basically
Service
say
got
y'all
damn
ain't
good at
getting
catching
over on that
counterfeits,
shit.
and Da Vinci knew what he was doing was a dying art that could only be passed down. So he taught Art the old school counterfeiting way, mixing inks, offset prints, plate making, attention to detail, and the rules of the game. Number one, never tell anyone. Number two, never spend your counterfeit money. Only sell it. And number three, never be greedy. If you print too much, you will be stopped.
Oh, so the one thing he said was never tell anyone. And the one person he told was his son, and his son snitched on him. That's crazy, fool.
Within the months, Art had become a student of the counterfeit game, taking his apprenticeship as seriously as a college degree, and knew that he had finally found his calling in life. And he had felt like Da Vinci was the father that he never had. 3 months later, Da Vinci was nowhere to be found. He couldn't be reached by phone. He had to drop by the house.
Hold on.
And as the week
break real quick. You feel me? My bad, y'all. I had to check on the settings. You feel me? Yeah. Let's play the video.
went on, the thoughts about maybe where he had gone only got darker. Had he been arrested? Was he taken out by the mob? Now, Art didn't want to raise suspicions by driving by his print shop or even asking his friends in the mob where Da Vinci was at. So Art would have to take Da Vinci as another man who would abandon him in his life, just like his father. So without the money to start his own counterfeiting business,
hey, you sound like the regular lifestyle to some folks. Shit,
hustling on the streets. And by now, dealing cocaine was all of the rage in the hood. And rather than just being another neighborhood coke dealer, Art gets a bit creative with it. He rents a Chevy Caprice in black. He puts an antenna on top. He puts red strobe lights on top of the dash and tops it all off with a fake police badge on top of his Hawaiian shirt. He would follow drug dealers around for hours. He would pull them over, search their car, take everything they had, bang them on the head with the mag light, knocking them out, and take off in his...
So he was basically just being a gangbanger. Because you know the police sometimes be kind of like a gang. You feel me? Gang. You feel me? Just in uniform. Y'all know how it go, man. You feel me? They be out here trying to earn their stripes just like any other member. You feel me? It's just how it go. You feel me? Gangs and all that type of shit, groups that collided. You notice it always worked the same. You feel me? There's always a way to earn your stripes and etc. You feel me? Even girls who click up, you feel me? They gotta earn their stripes in their own way to prove they work to the group. You feel me? Niggas who click up, you feel me? It's all the same. Anywhere you go, a group of individuals is clicking up, trying to elevate between levels and shit like that. There's a way that you gotta prove your status, bro. It's just that.
Caprice laughing all the way.
Even in school,
is robbing drug dealers at
niggas trying to make the principal list, dean's list, everything. No, it's always competitive.
He was making 15 grand per hit, and after a couple of these hits, Art had a pretty decent sized nest egg. So he decides he's gonna get married to his girlfriend, and he tells her that he's finally leaving the criminal life behind because now he has a sweet gig in construction. It pays well, babe, but the hours are long. But every morning when she dropped him off at work, Art would walk down the street to a secretly rented apartment. He purchased an old school press, barrels of ink, process cameras, and even plates, and even a new computer program, Photoshop. Now, Da Vinci had never used
that shit just came out
counterfeiting, but Art thought maybe he can combine the old school and the new school counterfeiting to create a bill that was better than what anyone had ever seen. And oh boy, these bills look goddamn real. But just like in Breaking Bad, you can make the best meth in town, but if you have no one to sell it to, what's the point? So he gets involved in the underworld of Chicago, making a name for himself. He sells counterfeits to ladies of the night, drug dealers, and even taxi cab drivers who would hand fake $5 bills back as change. So with the sales team to handle distribution, Art was making about $50,000 a month. And although the business was growing, Art always remembered what Da Vinci said. Don't get too...
Like, that's smart as fuck. Like, they basically was just keeping the change and was like, here's some fake money back. That's crazy, fool. Like, imagine somebody be like, hey, you got change for 200. Nigga, they get the money, they get like 150 back in motherfucking... Who the fuck asking for 150 in change?
too greedy. But he thought, who's gonna notice if he gets a new car, parties at the strip club, gets VIP tickets at the ball game? I mean, that's what people with normal jobs do, right?
Right.
But his wife had her suspicions. Even though he was taking care of the family beyond what she ever thought was possible, could a construction worker really make
She know.
all of that money? And with this
She
wife
know.
now starting her training at the police academy, she knew something sketchy was going on.
Oh, fuck no. Hold on, y'all. We gotta take a what? What he just say she was training to be? Fool, you printed fake money and your wife is a police? Oh no.
1993, she would file for divorce, and this absolutely destroyed
You
her
tripping,
heart.
you tripping, you tripping.
While the money was good in counterfeiting, the consequences weren't. He had now lost his only son and the woman he had loved. Now we thought
Wait. She left?
something sketchy was going on. Now starting her training at the police academy, she knew something sketchy was going on. So in 1993, she would file for divorce.
Oh my goodness, fuck that bitch. Bro, what? Yo, I gotta cut that out. But, dog, she did that, bro, just cause she ain't tell brother. I'm just playing. Bro, over here, she wasn't trying to get caught up in that. I ain't gonna lie. She was not trying to get caught up in that. He must have been a crazy nigga. Cause for the counterfeit, that's tough.
And this absolutely destroyed art. While the money was good in counterfeiting, the consequences weren't. He had now lost his only son and the woman he had loved. Now we thought maybe Chicago had made him this way, so he skipped out of town to go live with his mom in the green state of Texas. But going to church on Sundays and having dinner at 6, he couldn't help but think about how thrilling his old life was. Until at a bar, he met a smoking hot blonde, Natalie. With her street smarts, she knew the art of the scam and was more than happy to indulge in her darker side. She often hung out with drug dealers, give them a little roofie, and just rob them blind. But rather than see this as
Oh, she was on that. She was on that. You feel me? We know that who we talking about. She on that crazy shit. She drugging niggas and shit. They doing that? That's tough. That's very tough. Watch your drink. Yeah.
like a huge red flag, for Art, it was really love at first sight. Because, you know, she was down the clown, she'd be down the counterfeit. And Art knew he needed to lock her down. So after a few dates, he lays out a plan for the two of them. They'd get married, they'd move back to Chicago.
How did my boy, wait, my boy getting married again? My boy, why do you feel the need to keep getting married over and over and over again? My boy, like, relax. You making all this money, you feel like you gotta spend it on her ass? She been over here roofing motherfuckers, and you over here counterfeiting. You like, yeah, come roll with me, baby. The fuck is wrong with you, fool? You tripping?
In contact with the old sales team and get back in the counterfeit game.
Ain't she, man? What?
Union, economic chaos.
You tripping?
Everyone wanted a stable currency in the 90s, and that was the $100 bill. But there was a big problem. With advancements in printers and scanners, counterfeits became rampant in the 1990s. But why? Well, the $100 bill had had the same exact design since 1929. So the feds needed to develop a bill that couldn't just be printed out, a counterfeit-proof currency.
The new $100 bill was released today. The U.S. Treasury is making $80
I know niggas was like, I know niggas was mad as shit. Cause this was like scamming back in the day. I know they was mad as woo-wee. Boy, I would have been tight. Boy, I would have been like, what? I would have damn near broke my whole TV set, boy. The whole stolen TV set. Because you know, back in the day, everybody had the stolen TV set. Boy, I would have broke the whole stolen TV set. Boy, I would have been tight if I was doing that shit. For real, man. What you mean I can't use Photoshop no more? God, I would have been mad at technology, man.
Of the new and improved
they probably left technology alone after that.
That was the series 1996 $100 bill. Now this was a huge deal because unlike before where no one really checked their cash, everyone was looking for the watermark, the UV ink, the color shifting ink. Banks were exchanging the old bills for new ones as fast as they could. Some businesses wouldn't even accept a old $100 bill. And the public thought that there
I would have been like, boy, you finna take this 100. I ain't gonna lie to you, fool. You finna take this honey.
There was
You feel
no
me?
way a bill could be fake if it had a watermark. And that became the flaw, because Art knew if he could somehow fake these security features, he would have the perfect counterfeit. And he would become obsessed with cracking the 1996 $100 bill. But how do you fake a watermark, or microprinting, or even a security threat? I mean, Da Vinci had never taught him that. Well, what Art came up with is borderline genius. Now, I don't take a lot of
See,
sponsorships on the channel, unless they actually
shit, me either. But
If you want-
because
now,
I'm open to
or
all sponsorships. If they want to sponsor me,
field entities, they order paper samples
you
from
know we
all
do it.
around the world. And although they would pass the field test, every single sample, but you're going to be put on some kind of watch list. So, using fake identities, they order paper samples from all around the world. And although
Did I not go back enough, yo?
can buy some that are pretty similar to it,
Alright,
but
there you
you're
go.
going to be put on some kind of watch list. So, using fake identities, they order paper samples
I don't
from
know
all around the
We're
world.
gonna try to catch
and
up,
although
yeah.
they would pass the field test, every single sample
I
would
gotta
fail
get
at
that badge
But sometimes
of
what you're
skipping
looking for
ads
is
up to
right
a platinum.
underneath your nose. So
No
while
cap.
Natalie was pen testing a sample, she accidentally marked a copy of the Chicago Sun-Times, and the newspaper passed. So Art just walked down to the dumpster at the Chicago Sun-Times and took the same rolls of paper out for free, and it worked. But what about that watermark? That's very easy. He just traced the watermark on a piece of tissue paper and put 2 sheets on the outside, bam. But here's what blew my mind. So counterfeit detectors like this one have a magnet inside to see if there's the magnetic ink used in real money. And Art used the same magnetic ink in his own bills, so they could even pass that. That is how goddamn good these counterfeits work. What about that color changing ink? You just use the same paint they use on
So basically, it's real money. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it's real money. That's what you're trying to tell me. Because, fool, if I give you an iPhone that I learned to make from the Apple dude, but I just ain't walk out the Apple building and it still work exactly the same. You gonna take the iPhone or you gonna go spend all your money on that other one that literally is made just the same, bro? Same thing with the shows. We don't want reps, but nigga, if a nigga, if motherfuckers in whatever country they making that shit at, not finna go there. If they making this shoe, you feel me, for you feel me, and they go sell it to you for 120, and then a reseller trying to sell it to you for 500, and they both come from the same place. It's just one made a stop at Nike and one came straight to the location. What you gonna do? You probably gonna go buy from Nike. Nah, you ain't even gonna buy from Nike. You gonna buy from a reseller. That's the thing, fool. This shit got a nigga thinking, cause fool, motherfuckers will go and buy from a reseller who got that shit from Nike instead of the motherfuckers who went and got that shit from the middleman and will sell it to you online for 120 or less. And then you gonna call it fake because it ain't reached fucking Nike. Nigga, it jumped over Nike, nigga. I don't know. That shit got me thinking.
lowriders. What about the stamp?
If you know, you know.
And at the very end, to give it that feel of a crisp bill, he would top it off with hairspray. So after reconnecting with his old sales team, word spread fast, and his bills were selling like hotcakes, selling $200,000 a month in counterfeits just in Chicago. But if he stayed in Chicago, it was only a matter of time before he was caught. So he decides to travel across the country with his wife, and once a month come back, do a little run of bills. But now Art felt that his counterfeits were so good that he could spend them himself, breaking Da Vinci's rule. But you see, a good counterfeit won't just spend his money anywhere. It's gotta be clean. So while they were traveling, they'd go hit the outdoor malls with the young and dumb cashier.
Is that a metaphor? No, I ain't thugging like that. You feel me? I ain't never had to, you feel me, do all that before. I thought that was just a metaphor. He got money in the dryer.
cashiers
Oh.
and pass bills there. You know, they buy
Hey
a
man, y'all
$10
might be
pair
like,
of
this
baby
nigga.
shoes with a fake $100 bill. Bam, the 90 bucks is real money. Rinse and repeat. Now you got a couple grand of clean cash. Now by this time, 2 years later, Art had made over $5 million in counterfeit bills.
Y'all can't see me,
Now
huh?
word got around to the Russian mafia that Art had some of the best bills in the game and wanted a small order, you know, to test them out. $100,000 delivered that night. But there was kind of a big problem. Art had promised his in-laws he would drop him off at the airport that same day. But like many guys, he thinks he could do it. So he goes to Chicago, grabs the money, grabs an extra $60K for himself, drops off his in-laws and his wife, and at the
Like,
airport,
he got money, though.
his wife's sister wants to hang out with them. Alone. Terrible idea, but Art thinks, why not? So he drives into town with his wife's sister, checks into the hotel, does the deal with the Russians, and as he's winding down, the wife's sister takes a shower, and he thinks, let's smoke a joint, let's a little celebrate. Now the cops knock on the door, you know, with a noise complaint, no big deal. Until Art opens the door and the cops barge in saying that they see a huge bag of weed on the nightstand. Art was on all levels. They find his wife's naked sister in the shower, $60,000 in counterfeit bills, and a big bag of pot in the nightstand. Things didn't look too good, and especially—
Oh, what just transpired? The wife's sister? She worked with the feds? What just went down, clown? This is crazy.
especially when the Secret Service finally showed up. Now, they actually complimented Art, saying that these were some of the best bills they'd ever seen in their entire career, and that they'd actually been tracking.
Not they in my boy's face saying, oh yeah, these is clean, but shit, your ass going to jail though. We know you worked your ass off for these, but you know you're going to jail. That's crazy. Ain't no way they playing with my boy's face about the Benjamins.
His bills all across the country. But Art was smart. He knew this was all sweet talk because he couldn't get his mind off of the thought, how could the police see a bag of pot if it was in the nightstand?
Facts.
That's what
The first thing they talk about is a bag of
the
weed.
entire case,
They cap
even
it.
the counterfeit stuff, on illegal search and seizure.
Yeah.
God bless America. And
Yeah, that was extremely illegal. All they did was bust in. I was going to say that. They came in the motherfucking door and said, we see a bag of weed already with the guns out and shit. Golly. What did they have in that weed back in the day that they don't want us to know? Oh, shit. They got that super THC? Now open up your eyes, marijuana, huh? Because they wasn't trying to have motherfuckers had their eyes open back up in the day, huh? They ain't want people out here making counterfeit. You feel me? That marijuana was giving him new ideas. You feel me? That shit is crazy.
even crazier, Art's wife actually believed him when he said him and the sister were doing nothing. Talk about luck. But now with the face to the name, Art knew the feds, 100% were tailing him. So he heads to his in-laws to figure out some kind of plan.
She
It's to
believed
find his
him.
father, who had abandoned him at the age of 9. So he finds the name of Art Williams Sr. living up in Alaska, and after exchanging
She
some
wanted to
letters,
come
they
back
decide to meet
alone.
up.
She believed that.
Now, after running into some trouble with the Hells Angels and after
That nigga must have been making a fuck ton of money.
his father ended up
'Cause ain't no way
small
she ain't give a
fishing
fuck
town
like
as
that.
a mechanic. He wanted to know if his son had finally an honest job. But like a kid showing off his school project, Art Jr. whips out $5,000 of his counterfeit cash. And rather than telling him to cut it out and maybe think about his kids, his dad asks him if he can make more. But Art tells him about the bust and how he got away with it, and it would be so dumb for him to even counterfeit again. It took 2 weeks for Art to cave into his dad's demand. He was printing again out in Alaska, and although he had 60 grand hang drying in the backyard, without his fancy printing setup, these bills, they weren't up to the
60
best
grand?
quality.
Oh
And
yeah,
Art
he had
thought
money
how
just to
he
store.
couldn't just be on the run.
Fool, he was sitting there printing money while he's smoking a joint, watching 60 grand he just like these. Life good, son. Grab that 100 and put it next to that 100. You feel me? I want it to get more light. He tripping. Grab that 100 and put it over there next to that one. I like how they look good. That's tough. I ain't gonna lie,
That's
no
really
cap.
no way to live. So his dad proposes
I
a
ain't
grand
condoning it
to
at
do
all. I don't
one
condone
last
this.
counterfeit batch for $5
Fly
million
smart room.
and then
Fuck.
retire out in Alaska. So he heads to Chicago, gets the supplies, ships him out to the middle of Alaska. They were gonna do one last run together. Now, Art Jr. made it very clear to his dad that this whole counterfeit game was a secret between the two of them. Every person that knows becomes a liability. But Art Sr. thought that his girlfriend Denise could be trusted, so behind his son's back, he gives Denise $3,000
Oh my
in counterfeit
goodness.
bills, and even tells her about the whole scheme, and even gives her the task of cleaning it. Take the fake
Oh
money, buy
my.
something cheap, there you go with the change,
Oh
you get
my.
the story. Now, somehow Art Jr. gets word of this and is absolutely furious. I mean, his
Facts.
own dad, that he hadn't seen in 20 years, who had abandoned him at the age of 9, had broken his trust within 2 weeks of seeing.
Man, he gotta shut up, fool. He making the money, fool. You not making the money. He taught you the money. You talking about he abandoned you. He ain't abandoned shit. Your mama, you feel me? I don't actually know the story, but shit. The mama up and left. You feel me? That's just what it was. Now he trying to come back. You see, he's teaching you the game. He give you 60 grand. You feel me? He really messing with you, fool. And you over here on some hating shit just because he told his girl, man, he was telling your mama. And your mama was, if he didn't tell your mama, you see what your mama did. You feel me? So now he over here, he tell his girl, you over here tripping. Man, he tripping.
But then it gets even worse, because Anise actually gave the money to a family friend, the Shanigans, to help her in cleaning it. So without his dad's knowledge, Art goes to the house.
Oh, well, now I see why he was mad. Because shit, she's tripping.
All
She
this
tripping.
paper, destroys all the print equipment, and hides all the counterfeit cash and PVC stashes in the Alaskan forest and skips out of town. Now, while this is happening, the Shanigans were shopping with the counterfeit cash at the downtown mall, trying to clean it, until 2 cashiers felt the money was a little, and they called the cops, and the Shanigans were arrested. Now, when the Secret Service got involved, the Shanigans knew that shit was real, and it didn't.
The Shanigans were on the
take long to sing like
shenanigans.
birds. So the Secret Service makes them informants and decides to wiretap their phone to try to get to the bigger fish. Now, the next day, the Shanigans call Anise and tell her that, oh, they had spent all the counterfeit money like good people. And then Art Sr. hops on the call, saying he was picking up an extra 20 grand of Art's new counterfeits for them to clean that night.
What
But when
the
Art Sr.
fuck?
showed up at the house, everything was gone. His son had ditched them, like how he had ditched his son 20 years ago. And
Man,
instead,
this
it
nigga was
the,
moving
Secret
wonky.
Service waiting for him. And they'd be arrested.
He was
Later
moving
that day in
wonky.
Dallas, Texas.
Excuse me, I don't mean to say him, but he was moving wonky, man. I ain't gonna lie. He was just giving anybody his money. And this was the girl that he had married, right? Oh yeah, nah, he was moving wonky. I forgot who he had married. Nah, he was tripping.
Art Jr. were arrested as well.
He was
Now,
making too
Art
much
had
money to be
really
tripping like
cleaned
that.
house very well because the feds found nothing as evidence. But the prosecutor did have one thing, and that was the recording of them admitting to counterfeiting. Now, at the trial, Anise, so dumb, thought she could take on the Secret Service at trial. Well, let me remind you, the Secret Service has a 99% conviction rate. So she would get 5 years. Art Sr., he would get 5 years. And after counterfeiting $10 million over the course of a decade,
Oh yeah. He was living on rich man's lifestyle. That's $1 million a year. Oh no. He was back then. That's tough. That's really like $3 million. He was really on the NBA. You feel me? A little rookie contract. Now that's tough. My boy was really balling on a budget. You feel me? Just printing money. He could have went crazier, but he was focused on the dumb shit.
Art Jr.
And I don't condone this shit though at all. At all. He shouldn't have did it at all.
3 years. Now, Art Jr. had paid the ultimate price for his crime because on the day he was released from prison, his dad died of a heart attack. I mean, the same day. And he'd realized what his father did to him by abandoning him, he was now doing to his own son, and he couldn't let this cycle continue. Now, luckily, people were actually fascinated with
I didn't even think about
getting
that.
out of prison. The Rolling Stone did a profile piece, he was taking interviews, he was getting standing ovations at law enforcement conferences. But he put his entire focus on reconnecting with his 15-year-old son, Art Williams III. You see, he wanted to become a rapper.
Hopefully he don't snitch. Oh yeah, he a rapper. He probably ain't gonna snitch on your ass unless you try to snitch on him too. You know he gonna be doing some crazy shit. Nigga going crazy. He's talking about my daddy and Jenna and then my daddy was flipping that shit. Don't you know about my daddy? You can read them in the paper. I bought like a Laker. You feel me? Yeah. Hey, what? Yo, I said, bro, I knew he was gonna be saying some shit like that, bro.
And and he wanted the fund his
Nah,
career to
that's
help
tough.
him to do anything to be
I'm sure
legit.
he's very much
August
underexplaining.
14th, 2006.
Yeah.
When Art Jr. walked into his apartment, he had found a pile of counterfeit bills stacked on the table. They were shoddy.
Oh no, the cycle repeats itself. Oh no, the cycle repeats itself.
They looked horrendous. They were made by his son. But Art had never taught his kid how to counterfeit. He wanted everything for him to just be legit. But his son had learned by reading this same Rolling Stone article that was about him. And Art was furious. An argument ensued, and his son stormed out of the house with his hands full of counterfeit bills. But just as the police happened to be driving by. Now, Art Jr. had nothing to hide. I mean, he didn't make these bills. They obviously weren't to his quality standards.
Don't tell me the rapper snitch now.
So he invites the Secret Service in.
Whoa. He invites him in? This is crazy. Oh my goodness, this is making me like really think like, what's going on? What's going on? Now, what part are we missing? Why do they hate each other like this?
To search the apartment, and they find the printers, the scanners, all laid out just like how we said in that Rolling Stone article. But the problem was that his son was 15 years old and had even told the police his dad had made him. And when the dad is the greatest counterfeit of all time, they believe it's him. Now, the police did end up finding $89,000 of super high quality counterfeits hidden in the house that only Art could have made. But those shoddy counterfeits that were on the table, that was all of his son's work, and Art Jr. would get all of the blame. Now, at the trial, the judge held up one of the super counterfeits and said,
"This would have fooled me. How long did it take you to figure this out?"
15 years.
Have you ever thought of what you could have done with your life if you had spent all of that time doing something good?
Nigga, I made that amount. What are we talking about? That's a stupid amount for back in the day. He was making more than you, Judge. No, yeah.
Those words to heart. He had spent his entire life perfecting the craft of making a dollar.
And it was only getting, the technology was just getting better and better every year.
And he knew things had to change. Now, with the son falling on hard times with his dad in prison, a couple years later in 2009, Art III would be arrested for counterfeiting at the age of 18. A son, a father, and a grandfather were all counterfeits. Now, Art Jr. had never learned.
He's dumb as shit. Art Jr. never stood it. He was just dumb. He was just a dummy. You know, like, he tried to reconnect with his son, and he was just dumb. Yo, why he do that? He snitched on him, and then 3 years later, he tried again, he get caught.
The value of a dollar.
That's tough.
He simply just made him out of thin air. And even worse, he had a court order now that said he couldn't make any money from selling or even telling this story now. But while he was locked up, he had learned to paint. He had studied the masters, and he had took the craftsmanship he had learned from counterfeiting and put it into his art. Now, within a year out of prison, Art had actually caught a break selling one of his paintings at a prestigious charity auction. And today he owns a gallery in Beverly Hills, and that gallery's name.
My boy was made for the money. Hey, I fuck with that ending though. I ain't gonna lie. I fuck with that ending. Look at this. That's tough. I ain't gonna lie. That's extremely tough. That's a good painting right there.
Art had actually caught a break.
That's tough, my boy. That's tough. I fuck with
selling
this.
One of his paintings at a prestigious charity auction. And today he owns a gallery in Beverly Hills.
Hey, we love to see it, man.
Is Da Vinci's.
Da Vinci's. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that's tough. That's a good little ending for the Da Vinci Art Gallery. You feel me? How Mall Cop exposed a 10.3 million counterfeit empire. I ain't gonna lie, this was probably my favorite video we reacted to on this channel. We gotta react to more videos like this, man. I'm gonna go ahead and leave a like, man. Simple. Go ahead and subscribe. Like, y'all know what to do with the channel, man. Simple. Let's do it, man.